Today I am about to go explore some trails and a waterfall. We actually had the first rain we've had here in over 2 months since we've been here. So we are at Khao Chamao waterfall. I believe that's how you pronounce it. And Angela did not come because we have Ernie with us, and this is a national park. And so we were not able to bring him today. No animals allowed in national parks, which kind of doesn't make sense to me, but okay. So I'm gonna go for a hike. It has been raining, so if I disappear, please send the best spelunkers that you can find. This is the dry season. In fact, April and May are the hottest months typically in Thailand. And then in May, you start to get, May, June, July, you start to get afternoon rains, and that tends to cool things down, but of course also makes it very humid and muggy. Look at these roots, just incredible. Nice things about Thailand is how their spirituality is omnipresent. Businesses have what they call spirit houses located in a certain corner of their property, as do residences. And then you get out into nature where you just have these unbelievable trees, and there's a natural shelf here where people are making offerings. Look at how interesting, the interesting shape and contour of the root base of this tree. It's like, it almost looks like a concrete wall, but as you can see, it's very thin. Look at just how the way it contours along and creates this very narrow, almost like a retaining wall. I don't know if that's the way Mother Nature intended it or not, but that's exactly how it seems to function here on these trails. Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? You don't want to brush up against that one. Check out these fish. They seem quite hungry. They're literally, they see me and they're probably used to being fed or something. I'm afraid I don't have any food and I wouldn't do it anyway because I don't want to disrupt the ecosystem, but kind of cool. All right, we got to keep moving. Considering it's about 100 degrees today and the rocks are slippery and I'm alone and I've already sweat out about 30% of my body weight, I'm gonna have to add heat exhaustion to the list of dangers here. Place in a lot of ways, with the exception of the bamboo and green pit vipers, reminds me a lot of the forest where I grew up in Alabama. Reminds me of my dad, who left us about 6 months ago. And Boy Scouts and exploring creeks and rivers and going on camp outs with my friends and my dad. So I'm missing you today, Dad. We would have loved this. Honestly, I don't think you have to worry about the pit vipers as much as you do just a slight slip of the foot, and you could not only sprain your ankle pretty easily, but you could fall and hit your head, and I suspect it'll be a while before they find you. Trail's definitely starting to get less and less defined as we go. Not seeing anyone back in here. Unfortunately, I did not bring a change of clothes. This shirt, you probably can't tell, but it's literally like a towel that I submerged in the swimming pool. It's just a wet, soppy rag at this point. And I hear running water up here. So I didn't bring my bathing suit. This episode might end up being called Indiana Jones and the Fruit of the Loom. Because if there's water, I might be so inclined to jump in. I wonder if that's looks like a bee's nest, hornet's nest. I'm not going to mess with it. I don't see any activity around. It could be even ants or something I'm not familiar with. I brought water, but I'm not sure I brought enough. What the hell is this? Just sitting out here? Oh, you know what that is? I would not be surprised with the crank. I'm not gonna mess with it. But I wonder if this is not a flash flood warning system. I wonder if maybe in the event of a flash flood, you can turn this and it will sound a siren that will reverberate throughout the valley. I don't know. Just a guess, but I can't imagine what else this would be. All right, this looks a little sketchy, but I see a waterfall down there, so we're gonna keep going. Wow. Doesn't really look like I can get there on that side, and it's probably ill-advised on this side. So now that I'm here, I think I'll pass on the swim, mainly because I'm alone, and secondly, I'll have to say that the green pit vipers are hardly a selling point. All right, I think we're gonna start working our way back down the canyon. Might stop, there was one or two detours I didn't take, and if we have extra sunlight, might stop and check those out. Haven't seen a soul in this leg of the trails. All to myself. I feel like I'm playing Hubert again. Boomer joke. Let's go. This is where you have to start to put a little bit of faith in your fellow man that they know how to tie a good knot. So far, so good. Okay, okay. All right. Oh, how'd my camera get up here? Huh, there's a sign. Not an encouraging one since it's pointing that way and it's on the ground. And it's in a language I don't read. So I got three things going against me at this point. So I've got a little bit of a dilemma here because the sole on my boot is coming off and it's going to make it impossible to walk without it constantly tripping me up or scooping debris up. But I'm also concerned that if I pull it completely off, I'll have no traction and maybe even that the underbelly of the shoe will be too soft. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna have to pull it off and hope that the rest of it, oh, okay, well at least the back part, although it's coming off too. So the Blundstones are finally reaching the end of their shelf life. They've come around the world several times over the years at this point. They've been amazing boots, and I've had them repaired several times, but I don't know. I just had them resold, so either it was done improperly or their days are just numbered. So I will put this in my bag and make that decision later. Let's be extra careful though, because now we're running without a sole. When I see lagoons like this, and especially when they have cliffs, and especially when I'm traveling alone, I can't help but think about my grandfather, Carlton. He grew up in Coleman, Alabama, where he lived his entire life. He began dating my grandmother in high school, and they were married their entire lives. Grandmother passed away a decade or so ago, but I remember hearing the story of my grandfather and his best friend, whose name was Leroy. And one day, he and I believe they were seniors, maybe juniors, but they were seniors in high school and decided, as seniors sometimes do, to play hooky, to skip school. So they skipped school, And they hiked, I think, like 5 miles out into the county to a lagoon of some sort of, I imagine it was much bigger than that. I think it was actually like a rock quarry. So it had deep sides and, you know, fills with water. And so many communities have these places where there's some place that's kind of forbidden to go and usually dangerous and all that stuff. But yet the high schoolers still go out there and jump from the cliffs. Those places exist any town, USA, or any place in the world. And so Carlton, my grandfather, and Leroy hiked for miles out by themselves, 2 young men, and they were swimming and doing the jumps and all the things that their parents had no idea they were doing. And actually, Leroy's dad was the sheriff in the county. And Leroy jumped off of a rock and slipped and hit his head and fell into the quarry and disappeared. My grandfather, of course, looked for him and dove for him and did everything he could to try to find his friend. But after searching, it became pretty apparent that Leroy was not going to resurface. And so you can imagine being a 17-year-old young man, the trauma of having to walk back all those miles alone, knowing that your friend was dead, knowing that your parents and his parents and the community as a whole would be shocked and hurt and angry and greatly saddened by the loss of this young man. Grandmother was dating him at the time, and she said that, you know, Granddad was never understandably the same after that, that his personality changed forever. Well, that was a real buzzkill. Sorry about that, guys. I guess losing 40% of your body weight through dehydration will cause you to get moody and introspective. But no more. Onward, upward. Actually, I hope it's onward, downward. And we should be out back to the entrance, I would think, in another 30 or 45 minutes. Man, second boot down. What the hell? I don't know. I literally just had them redone, and I guess the glue hasn't held or something. So, another piece of garbage to carry out with me, but I think we're going to go ahead and drink our water. Wow, it's hot, boys and girls. This is Thai jungle hot, Cambodian jungle hot. One of the things about all these roots, especially as you get tired, it is very easy to mistake them for snakes when you're walking through. So as you can see here, these roots that are slightly above ground, very easy when you're fatigued to mistake them for that. Now, I actually do not really mind snakes. I don't have a big fear of them. I don't want to wake up and find one in my bed or anything. Spiders, insects, bugs, large bugs, bees, I hate them. like really, really, really like would not, you know, don't want anything to do with insects. I don't understand the insect mind. Snakes don't bother me. I guess it's probably stems a little bit from the fact that I grew up kind of in the country and we had a pond, maybe a 2-acre pond, and it was always snakes everywhere. And at the beginning of every spring season, Dad, being the brilliant, if cruel mind that he was, the old garbage can lids, not like the plastic ones they have anymore, but the old Oscar the Grouch silver garbage can lids, he would buy, I don't know, 10 of those things, and he would lay them out in strategic places around the pond. And so there'd be these silver metal can lids dotted around our pond, and he would give me a shotgun. And as a young boy, my job would be to walk around with a hook in one hand and a shotgun in the other hand, and to go lift using the hook hand and using the hook to lift these garbage can lids off the ground. And of course, because they were absorbing heat, there would oftentimes be 1 or 2 or sometimes even 3 snakes coiled up under the lids. And then you would pull the trigger and blast these snakes to smithereens. Sorry guys, it's just what we did back then. And you know, copperheads, all sorts of cottonmouths, all sorts of stuff. But he did it because we had animals and pets and young kids. And so my job was to exterminate the snakes every season. So I guess I just didn't really, I lost my fear of them at that point. But bugs, I'm out. Snakes, fine. Spiders, that's a no-go. So now we are wrapping up this sweat fest, and we only lost 2 boots. So overall, I would consider that a win. Hope you enjoyed this hike. I'll include links to where we are in the comments, and get out and explore. This is an incredible little stop that I dare say outside of locals, very few Farang, very few foreigners ever bother to come out here. Totally worth it. Bye-bye. Happy Sangam.